In a bustling city where neon lights glowed brightly in the night, Isabella worked long hours at a diner during the day and at the most popular nightclub in town by night. Life hadn't been easy for her since losing her mother years ago. Left in the care of her stepmother Carla and her stepsister Cora, both arrogant and selfish, they treated her with disdain, assigning her all the housework while they lived in luxury. Despite the hardships, Isabella had an unbreakable spirit. She knew she had to work hard to move forward, dreaming of one day leaving behind her life full of struggles and oppression. One Friday night, after an exhausting day at the diner, Isabella prepared for her shift at Eclipse, a club known for its exclusive, modern vibe where the upper class came to enjoy music, dancing, and nightlife. For Isabella, working there was an opportunity to earn extra money, although she didn't feel like part of the luxurious world that surrounded her every night. Meanwhile, Alex, a young, wealthy, and attractive man, often frequented the nightclub. The son of a powerful and wealthy family, Alex had everything anyone could want: money, popularity, and a bright future ahead. However, despite appearances, he too felt an emptiness inside. The parties and entertainment no longer fulfilled him as they once did, and he began questioning the true meaning of his existence. That night, Alex arrived at the club with his group of friends, ready to distract himself from his thoughts. He entered the club, greeting acquaintances, and being the center of attention as usual. However, amidst the noise, his eyes settled on someone he hadn't seen before. Isabella, dressed in the club's black uniform, was behind the bar serving drinks. Though she tried to stay discreet and focused on her work, something about her caught Alex's eye. It wasn't just her beauty, but the way she seemed to be in her own world, unaffected by the glamour around her. For some reason, Alex couldn't take his eyes off her that night. With every drink he ordered, he found excuses to approach the bar and observe her more closely. Finally, he decided to break the ice. "Your name is Isabella, right?" he asked, his voice carrying softly over the music. Isabella looked up, surprised that he knew her name. After all, she was just another worker in the club. "Yes, I'm Isabella," she replied. "And you're Alex," she added with a charming smile, "though I'm not sure if I should introduce myself like that. You don't seem like someone who is easily impressed." Isabella couldn't help but smile at his comment. "I'm sorry, Alex. I didn't mean to be rude. I just don't usually get to know the customers at the club, so I don't know much about you." Alex observed her for a moment, noticing the sincerity in her words. She didn't seem interested in his wealth or fame, and that intrigued him even more. "You don't need to apologize, Isabella," he replied. "In fact, that's what I like about you. You seem different from the others who come here." Isabella looked at him, surprised by his honesty. She didn't know what to think. She had heard about Alex and his luxurious lifestyle, but she had never imagined that there could be something deeper behind his rich boy facade. Throughout the night, Alex continued to approach the bar whenever he had the chance to talk to Isabella. Despite being busy attending to customers, Isabella felt strangely comfortable with him. Their conversations ranged from trivial topics to more personal exchanges, and they slowly began to discover that they had more in common than they had expected. "Have you always worked here?" Alex asked, genuinely interested in getting to know her. "Not always," Isabella replied. "During the day, I work at a diner, and at night, I'm here at the club. It's not easy, but it helps me get by." Alex felt a mix of admiration and sadness: admiration for Isabella's strength to work so hard to get ahead, and sadness for the difficult circumstances that had led her there. "It must be exhausting," he said softly. "But it seems like you don't give up easily." Isabella looked into his eyes, feeling a genuine connection with him. It wasn't common for someone from his social class to care about understanding her life or her challenges. "Life isn't always easy," she responded, smiling faintly, "but I try to find something each day that keeps me going. Today, for example, has been an interesting day." Alex smiled, knowing she was referring to their conversation. "I'm glad I've made your day a little more interesting," he said, before looking at her with a mix of curiosity and admiration. "Would you like to dance? Just one dance so that tonight won't be all work for you." Isabella was taken aback by the invitation. She had never imagined that a customer, especially someone like Alex, would ask her to dance. She hesitated for a moment, aware that she was still on the clock, but something about the sincerity in his gaze convinced her to accept. "All right, just one dance," she replied with a smile. Alex took her hand and led her to the dance floor. As the music filled the room, they began moving to the rhythm. At first, Isabella felt nervous, but slowly, the atmosphere, the music, and Alex's presence helped her relax. In that moment, under the flashing lights and enveloping sound, something shifted between them. Isabella realized that, despite their different lifestyles, she felt comfortable with Alex, as if she could trust him. And Alex, for his part, felt that he had finally found someone who saw him as a person, not as an object of admiration or interest. The dance went on, and when the music finally changed to a slower beat, Alex and Isabella found themselves closer than they had been at the beginning. He looked into her eyes, and in that instant, he knew he was beginning to fall in love with her. After that night at the club, things changed for both Isabella and Alex. Although Isabella tried to keep their relationship professional, Alex couldn't get her out of his mind. He started visiting her at the diner where she worked during the day, making up excuses just to see her and spend time with her. Each day they spent together, his feelings for her grew stronger. Isabella, though initially hesitant, couldn't help but reciprocate those feelings. Alex wasn't the shallow man she had imagined at first. In him, she found someone who listened to her, understood her, and made her feel special. However, things weren't that simple. Cora, Isabella's stepsister, also frequented the nightclub and had noticed Alex's growing attention toward Isabella. Filled with jealousy and rage, Cora decided she would do everything in her power to separate Isabella from Alex and secure his attention for herself. Cora, cunning and manipulative, began spreading rumors about Isabella at the club and within Alex's social circles, insinuating that Isabella was only interested in his money. But that wasn't enough for Cora. With the help of her mother, Carla, she decided to take her plan a step further. Cora devised a lie that would change the course of Alex and Isabella's relationship. After a night where she managed to be alone with Alex at a party, she began spreading the rumor that she was pregnant with his child. She knew that Alex was an honorable man, and his sense of responsibility would force him to distance himself from Isabella if he believed he had a child on the way. Cora had waited years for this moment. She knew the only way to control Alex was through deception, and her plan was about to unfold perfectly. Over the years, she had seduced many men with her beauty and cunning, but Alex was different. This wasn't just about desire, it was about power, money, and revenge. He was the final obstacle standing between her and the fortune she so desperately craved. One night, at the Grand Mansion, Cora hosted a small private party to celebrate a supposed business deal with Alex. Although he attended out of obligation, he couldn't help but notice how she constantly found excuses to be close to him, using any opportunity to touch him. "Relax, Alex," Cora said with a venomous smile as she offered him a glass of wine. "Let's toast to our success." What Alex didn't know was that Cora had added a potent drug to his drink, a substance that would render him unconscious within minutes. After a few sips, Alex began to feel dizzy. He tried to stay alert, but his control over his own body was quickly slipping away. "Maybe I've had too much to drink," he murmured, trying to stand, but stumbling. Cora, with a calculated expression, stepped forward and grabbed his arm. "Don't worry, darling. I'll take care of everything," she whispered in his ear, guiding him to a bedroom. Once there, she let him fall onto the bed, completely helpless. She watched him for a moment, savoring her triumph. She knew Alex wouldn't remember anything when he woke up. With careful movements, she undressed and climbed into bed beside him, making sure their bodies were entwined. The next morning, sunlight streamed through the curtains, illuminating the scene that Cora had orchestrated. Alex awoke with a heavy feeling in his head, as if he had drunk far too much. When he opened his eyes, he found Cora lying naked beside him, smiling victoriously. "What happened?" he asked, confused, before running out of the room, consumed by doubt. After that night, Cora began spreading the rumor that she was pregnant with Alex's child. She knew Alex was an honorable man, and that his sense of responsibility would force him to distance himself from Isabella if he believed he had a baby on the way. The news of Cora's supposed pregnancy reached Alex through acquaintances and rumors on social media. At first, he refused to believe it. He didn't know if anything had truly happened between them. However, Cora, a master of manipulation, confronted him directly, faking tears and begging, assuring him that the baby was his. Confused and trapped in a situation he didn't know how to handle, Alex began to distance himself from Isabella, unable to explain to her what was happening. He didn't want to hurt her, but he also couldn't ignore what Cora was claiming. Isabella quickly noticed the change in Alex. What had once been a relationship full of deep conversations, laughter, and companionship had turned into something distant and confusing. Alex no longer sought her out as he had before, his visits to the diner became less frequent, and when they were together, his gaze was filled with worry and sadness. One afternoon, while Isabella was cleaning tables at the diner, Alex appeared at the door. His face was tense, and his eyes reflected a storm of emotions. Isabella felt that something was terribly wrong. "Alex, what's going on?" she asked softly, trying to hide the fear she felt. Alex approached her slowly, taking her hand, but as he did, Isabella felt a distance, as if he was about to say something that would shatter the happiness they had built together. "Isabella," he began, his voice trembling, "there's something I need to tell you, something that's been tormenting me." Isabella frowned, her heart pounding in her chest. "Tell me, Alex. You know you can trust me." Alex sighed, knowing there was no easy way to say what he had to say. "Cora," he began, and just mentioning her name made Isabella tense up. "She says she's pregnant with my child." Isabella felt her world collapse around her. Alex's words were like daggers stabbing into her heart. She couldn't believe what she was hearing. "Cora," she repeated, incredulous. "Did something happen between you two?" Alex quickly shook his head, aware of what she was thinking. "No, Isabella. I swear nothing happened between us, but Cora insists that she's pregnant and that I'm the father. I don't know how to handle this. I don't want to lose you, but I also can't ignore what she's saying." Isabella stepped back, feeling a mix of pain, anger, and betrayal. How could Cora do something like this to her? How could Alex even consider her words after everything they had shared? "I don't know what to say, Alex," she murmured, her eyes filling with tears. "If nothing really happened, why are you so confused? Why are you pushing me away?" Alex moved closer, trying to embrace her, but Isabella gently pushed him back. "Isabella, I love you. But if there's even the slightest chance that Cora is telling the truth, I can't just ignore it. I know it's unfair, but I don't want to hurt anyone, especially not you." Isabella looked into his eyes, seeing the sincerity and anguish in them, but she also saw the uncertainty. And that doubt was enough to break her heart. "I need time to process this, Alex," she finally said, her voice shaky. "I can't be with you while you're caught up in this situation. If you really love me, I hope you find the truth and come back to me. But until then, it's better that we keep our distance." Alex nodded sadly, understanding that he had no right to ask for more at that moment. With one last glance, filled with sorrow, he said goodbye to Isabella, leaving the diner behind along with an uncertain future. Meanwhile, Cora reveled in her triumph. She had managed to drive a wedge between Alex and Isabella and now had him under her control with her lie about the pregnancy. She knew that if she could keep up the charade long enough, she could force Alex to commit to her. Her mother, Carla, fully supported her plan. Carla had always wanted Cora to marry someone rich, and Alex was the perfect candidate. Both were willing to do whatever it took to maintain the lie and get what they wanted. However, time passed, and Cora knew she couldn't fake a pregnancy forever without the truth coming to light. So, she decided to take the next step in her plan. One day, she showed up at Alex's house with an anguished expression and tears in her eyes. "Alex, I need to talk to you," she said, pretending to be desperate. Alex let her in, though his heart was filled with doubts. Ever since meeting Isabella, Cora had seemed more and more superficial and manipulative to him. Still, he felt obligated to do the right thing. "What's going on, Cora?" he asked, his voice tense. Cora sat on the sofa, feigning a mix of sadness and vulnerability. "Alex, I've lost the baby," she said, her voice trembling. "It was horrible. I didn't want to tell you, but I felt you needed to know." Alex looked at her, feeling a mix of relief and confusion. If what Cora said was true, then his responsibility toward her no longer existed. But something about her story didn't add up. Still, he didn't want to be insensitive, so he did his best to comfort her. "I'm so sorry, Cora," Alex said softly, though his words lacked genuine emotion. "I know this must be hard for you." Cora nodded, wiping away fake tears. "Thank you, Alex. I knew you'd understand. But can we try to be together? Now more than ever, I need your support." Alex tensed up, knowing he couldn't give her what she wanted. "Cora, I think it's best if we both take some time to recover from all of this. I need space to think about everything that's happened." Cora realized she was losing her grip on him and left the house furious. She knew her lie was starting to unravel, and she had to act quickly to keep Alex by her side. While Cora plotted her next move, Alex couldn't stop thinking about Isabella. The distance between them pained him, but it also gave him clarity. He knew he had to uncover the truth about Cora and her supposed pregnancy before he could win Isabella back. Determined to find answers, Alex hired a private investigator to get to the bottom of Cora's story. Within days, the investigator found conclusive evidence that Cora had been lying all along. Not only was she not pregnant, but she had fabricated the entire story in a desperate attempt to trap him. With the proof in hand, Alex confronted Cora, armed with the documents and evidence that exposed her deception. "Enough, Cora," Alex said firmly. "I know the truth. This was all a lie, and I won't let you manipulate me any longer." Cornered, Cora tried to cry and plead, but Alex wasn't swayed by her emotions this time. "Alex, please," Cora begged. "I did it because I love you. I thought if you believed I was pregnant, you'd stay with me." Alex looked at her with disdain. "Love doesn't work like that, Cora. You can't force someone to be with you through lies. This is over." With those final words, Alex walked out of Cora's house, determined to right his wrongs and get back to Isabella. A week later, Alex showed up at the diner where Isabella worked. She was behind the counter serving coffee to customers when she saw him walk in. Her heart skipped a beat, but she forced herself to stay composed. She wasn't sure what he wanted, especially after everything that had happened. Alex approached her, his eyes filled with regret and love. "Isabella, I know I hurt you by doubting you, and I'm sorry with all my heart," he said sincerely. Cora lied. "She made up everything about the pregnancy to separate us, and I fell into her trap. There's no excuse for what I did, but I'm here because I love you and I want you to give me a chance to prove it." Isabella looked at him in silence for a few moments, feeling a flood of emotions. The pain she had felt when Alex distanced himself was still there, but so was the love she had never stopped feeling for him. "Alex," she began, her voice shaky, "it wasn't easy for me to see you pull away, but I also understand why you did it. Cora manipulated you, and though it hurt, I know it wasn't your intention to hurt me." Alex nodded, stepping closer. "I promise I'll never let anyone come between us again, Isabella. I just want to be with you, without lies, without doubts." Isabella looked into his eyes, searching for the sincerity she had always seen in him. She knew Alex was being honest. And even though they had been through so much, deep down she couldn't deny what she felt for him. "All right, Alex," she finally said with a soft smile. With the truth revealed and the pain healed, Alex and Isabella began a new chapter in their relationship. They dedicated themselves to rebuilding their bond and planning their future together. Alex proved with his actions, not just his words, how much Isabella meant to him, and she, in turn, opened her heart fully to him. With time, they decided they wanted to seal their love with a wedding. Their wedding was an event to remember. After everything they had been through, their wedding day symbolized their unbreakable love. The ceremony took place in an elegant garden on the outskirts of town, surrounded by white roses and soft pink flowers that symbolized the purity and passion of their relationship. The soft sound of an orchestra played in the background, filling the air with love and joy, as both radiated with happiness. Isabella was stunning in her white lace gown, walking toward the altar with natural elegance, her eyes shining with a mix of nerves and excitement. Every step she took, she felt the love and support of her loved ones, but when she finally saw Alex waiting for her at the altar, everything else disappeared. He stood there, radiant in his dark suit, with a look of pure love and devotion meant only for her. Their friends and family were present, and the atmosphere was charged with emotion as Isabella walked down the aisle. Alex couldn't hold back tears. She looked beautiful, and he couldn't believe how lucky he was to have her by his side. During the ceremony, they exchanged vows filled with sincerity and promises of eternal love. Isabella promised Alex she would stand by him through thick and thin, and Alex assured her that his love for her was unbreakable. The "I do" was pronounced with a clarity and emotion that resonated through every corner of the garden. The couple sealed their union with a passionate kiss as their loved ones cheered. After the wedding, Alex and Isabella enjoyed a magical honeymoon in the Greek islands. They spent their days exploring the beaches, dining at quaint local restaurants, and savoring the time they could finally spend together without worries. During this time, they talked extensively about their future, and both agreed they were ready to start a family. A few months after returning, Isabella began to notice changes in her body. At first, she thought it might be due to the stress of work and the transition into her new life as a married woman. However, when the symptoms persisted, she decided to take a pregnancy test. To her surprise and joy, the 2 lines appeared immediately, confirming what she had suspected: Isabella was pregnant. But the real shock came during her first ultrasound. The doctor smiled and said, "Congratulations, Isabella, you're expecting twins." Isabella's heart pounded with excitement. Twins? The news was overwhelming but thrilling. When she told Alex, he looked at her with a mixture of astonishment and pure happiness. "We're going to have twins," he exclaimed, wrapping her in a tight embrace and kissing her forehead. "I can't believe it, Isabella. This is incredible. We're going to be the happiest parents in the world." From that moment, Alex committed himself to being there every step of the way. He accompanied Isabella to every doctor's appointment, read books about pregnancy and parenting, and even began practicing how to change diapers and prepare bottles. Despite the challenge of expecting twins, there was no doubt that Alex was ready to embrace every hurdle. Isabella's pregnancy was a unique experience, and although it was sometimes challenging, Alex was by her side through every moment. As her belly grew, so did the anticipation of meeting their daughters. Alex became an even more devoted husband, not only helping Isabella with daily tasks but also spoiling her, cooking her favorite meals, ensuring she got enough rest, and decorating the nursery for the twins with loving detail. The nursery became a small oasis of peace in their home, with soft pink and gray walls and elegant white furniture. The room had a warm and serene atmosphere. Alex made sure everything was perfect, from the matching cribs to the small lamps that cast a soft, cozy glow in the room. Although Isabella sometimes felt tired, she was happy and felt secure with Alex by her side. She knew she couldn't have chosen a better partner for this new chapter of her life. As the pregnancy progressed, the couple grew even closer, sharing laughs, expectations, and tender moments as they felt the twins' movements inside Isabella's belly. Alex was a devoted father even before the birth of his daughters. He spent hours talking to them through Isabella's belly, telling them stories, singing softly to them, and ensuring that they felt his love from the start. Finally, the day arrived. Isabella was nervous, but Alex, though equally anxious, stayed strong for both of them. During labor, Alex was by her side, holding her hand and whispering words of encouragement and love as she went through the hardest part. After hours of effort, their twin daughters came into the world. Valeria and Sophia were 2 tiny blessings who filled the room with love and emotion. Alex, with tears in his eyes, held his daughters for the first time, astonished by how perfect they were. "They're beautiful, Isabella." "They're perfect," he whispered as he gazed at his daughters in awe. "I can't believe they're ours." Exhausted but overjoyed, Isabella smiled as she watched Alex with their twin daughters in his arms. She knew he would be an amazing father, and at that moment, all the challenges and difficulties they had faced seemed insignificant. The first few months as parents were exhausting, but they were also the happiest of their lives. Alex was a hands-on dad, from changing diapers in the middle of the night to soothing the girls when they cried. He never hesitated to take the lead, always making sure Isabella had time to rest, insisting they were a team. Isabella and Alex complemented each other perfectly in their new routine as parents. Although caring for two babies at once was overwhelming at times, they managed it with patience and love. Alex became the hero of the house, cooking, cleaning, and being the best partner Isabella could ask for. Even in the toughest moments, when both girls cried at the same time, or when sleep was scarce, they always found a way to support each other and share a smile. The twins, Valeria and Sophia, were the center of their lives. As time went on, their personalities started to develop, and Alex and Isabella delighted in watching them grow and discover the world around them. Valeria, with her big curious eyes, was the more adventurous of the two, while Sophia, quieter and more reflective, always sought comfort in her father's arms. Their evenings as a family became their favorite moments. After long days, Alex and Isabella would sit on the sofa with the twins, reading them stories or simply enjoying time together. Sometimes they would just watch their daughters as they slept, feeling as though they couldn't ask for anything more in life. As the twins grew, Alex and Isabella realized how fortunate they were. Their lives hadn't always been easy, but every challenge had strengthened their love and their family. Now, with Valeria and Sophia filling their days with joy, they felt complete. Alex, the man who once seemed so distant, had become the pillar of the family. His dedication and love, not only for Isabella but also for their daughters, was evident in every gesture. Isabella, on the other hand, felt grateful for having such an exceptional partner, a man who not only loved her but was also a wonderful father. Life continued, filled with new challenges and joys, but no matter what, Alex and Isabella knew they would always have each other and their precious twins. The bright and promising future belonged to them and their beautiful family.